I thought I was seeing things, but Lila tore my son Evan's crayon drawing from when he was 6, right in front of me. The paper ripped with a sound like flesh tearing. She smiled. Just old paper. Mum. 10 minutes later, I discovered what she did next, and from that moment, my revenge began. The drawing wasn't just paper. It was the one Evan made during his worst nightmares. Stick figures of us holding hands under a yellow sun. Now it lay in 2 pieces in her manicured fingers, and she was already reaching for the matches. My name is Margaret Caldwell Maggie, to anyone who's known me longer than 5 minutes and at 68. I've seen enough emergency rooms to know when something's dying. 23 years as a paramedic in Asheville taught me to read the signs, the slight tremor before cardiac arrest, the particular shade of pale before someone loses consciousness, the way paper sounds when it tears beyond repair. That sound fills my husband's study now. Rip. Like cartilage separating from bone. What are you doing? My voice comes out steady. Years of talking to patients while their world collapsed, that training never leaves you. Lila doesn't even turn around. My daughter-in-law stands at Tom's oak desk, the one he built himself when Evan was born 36 years ago, systematically destroying my son's childhood. Spring cleaning. Mum, this place is a fire hazard with all these old papers. The drawing in her hands, I recognize it even from across the room. Waxy blues and reds, a crooked yellow sun, 3 stick figures holding hands. Mommy Daddy Evan, written in backwards letters at the bottom. He made it during the worst of his night terrors, when he was 6 and convinced the darkness would swallow him whole. That drawing lived on his nightstand for 2 years. My protection spell, he called it. That's not yours to throw away. I move closer. My knees protest arthritis from too many years kneeling on ambulance floors, but I keep my gait steady. Evan asked me to help declutter. She holds the torn halves up to the afternoon light streaming through the window. Dust motes dance between us. Look at this. The paper's practically disintegrating. Probably mold spores. You know how sensitive his allergies have been lately. Lie. My son hasn't had allergies since high school. But I watch her performance. The concerned wife routine she's perfected over 3 years of marriage. Strategic Operations Manager at Harrington and Vale Advisors. That's what her business card says. I'm starting to understand what operations she's actually managing. The framed drawing, my framed drawing, kept in protective glass since Evan left for college, lies in pieces on the desk. She'd pried it from the wall, leaving a pale rectangle on the paint. Tom and I haven't changed this room in 15 years. Now she's changing it in 15 minutes. The frame's still good. She separates the glass from the backing with practiced efficiency. I'll donate it to the Goodwill on Tunnel Road. I see the calculation in her movements. She's 33. Auburn hair pulled into what she calls a power ponytail, wearing the kind of athleisure that costs more than my monthly grocery budget. Everything about her is strategic. From her Tuesday yoga classes with the other Harrington and Vale wives, to the way she touches Evan's shoulder when she wants him to agree with her. Put it down. I don't ask. She actually laughs, a bright, tinkling sound like breaking glass. Maggie, you're getting worked up over nothing. It's just old paper. Evan doesn't even remember making this. Wrong again. Last Christmas. He'd stood in this very spot, pointed at that drawing, and told his father. That thing saved my life when I was kid. Mom would show it to me every night, proof that morning always came. But Lila wasn't there for that conversation. She'd been in the kitchen, reviewing her phone, planning something I'm only beginning to understand. She drops the torn halves into a manila folder, already thick with papers. My eyes catch glimpses, old insurance forms, medical records, Tom's veterans' benefit statements. Not trash. Records. I'll take these out to the bin. She scoops up the folder, adding 2 more boxes from beside the desk. The truck comes at 4:30 today. Right. 4. The word comes out automatically while my mind races. Those boxes weren't there this morning when Tom left for his workshop. She breezes past me. Designer sneakers silent on the hardwood Tom refinished last summer. The scent of her perfume. Something French. Something Evan could never afford on his teacher's salary lingers like evidence at a crime scene. I follow her to the front door. Watch her load everything into her white Lexus SUV instead of our trash bins. The manila folder sits on top, and in the afternoon sun, I can see through the paper just enough to make out letterhead, law offices, medical facilities, banking documents. Aren't you putting those in the trash? I keep my tone conversational, the same voice I used to use when asking drunk drivers how many drinks they'd had. Oh, these need to be shredded properly. Identity theft and all that. She slams the trunk. I'll handle it at the office. We have industrial shredders. She's back inside before I can respond, already washing her hands at the kitchen sink like she's scrubbing away evidence. I hear her humming some pop song I don't recognize. Happy. She's happy. The torn drawing, the boxes of documents, the way she knew exactly which frame to target, which papers to take. This isn't spring cleaning. This is erasure. And I'm the only one who sees it happening. The garbage truck rumbles away at 4:15. I wait until 4:30, then slip outside with Tom's old fishing gloves. The bins sit empty at the curb. She never brought those papers back out. But something pale catches my eye near our mailbox. The manila folder, twisted in the azalea bushes like it fell from her car. My paramedic instincts kick in. Scene assessment first, no neighbours watching. Tom's still at his workshop until 6. I retrieve the folder, my joints protesting as I crouch. Inside, printouts of emails I've never seen. Lila's name appears on correspondence with Keaton Marsh, MD, Neurology, Healthcare Proxy Designation. Dated 3 weeks ago. My hands don't shake, they never did. Not even during the worst trauma calls. But my mind races like I'm calculating drug dosages. Healthcare proxy. I never signed anything. Back inside. I spread the papers on my bedroom floor like evidence at a crime scene. Each document tells part of a story. An unsigned power of attorney form. My name typed as the grantor. Lila listed as agent. Complete authority over financial and healthcare decisions. A brochure for Mountain View memory care tucked between legal forms when your loved ones need more than you can give. The admissions paperwork is already filled out. Patient name, Margaret Eleanor Caldwell. Diagnosis line left strategically blank, waiting for the right moment. Tom's banking app pings on his phone charging on the nightstand. He gave me his password. Years ago, we don't do secrets after 42 years of marriage. I open it. The checking account looks wrong. Systematic withdrawals every Tuesday and Thursday. $195, $240, $380. Small enough to avoid flags. Regular enough to establish a pattern. 3 months of bleeding. The money traces to an account I don't recognize. LL Strategic Services. Lila Larson, her maiden name. I photograph everything with my phone, the way I used to document injury patterns. My training kicks in, establish timeline, identify mechanism of injury, determine intent. This isn't random. It's methodical, premeditated. The neurologist's name bothers me. I search Dr. Keaton Marsh on my laptop. Real doctor. Real practice in West Asheville. I call. Pretend to be confirming an appointment. Mrs. Caldwell. Yes. We have you scheduled for next Tuesday at 10:30. The receptionist says. Dr. Marsh wanted me to remind you that the family consultation is important for establishing baseline cognitive function. Family consultation. I keep my voice confused, playing the part they expect. Yes. Your daughter-in-law will be joining to discuss your recent episodes. Episodes. I haven't had so much as a cold in 2 years. Could you remind me what information she provided? I make myself sound uncertain, fragile. Let me see. Forgetfulness, confusion about medications, difficulty with financial decisions. She mentioned finding you going through garbage at odd hours. The azalea bushes. She knew I'd find that folder. She's creating a narrative. I thank the receptionist, hang up, then call back from Tom's phone. Different voice this time. This is Thomas Caldwell. I need to cancel my wife's appointment and all future consultations. We're seeking a second opinion. But Mr. Caldwell, your son specifically requested. My son. The words come out sharp. Mr. Evan Caldwell called yesterday to confirm. He seemed very concerned. I hang up. Evan. My sweet, trusting Evan, who still brings me flowers every Mother's Day, who calls every Sunday, who wouldn't recognize manipulation if it wore a designer ponytail and controlling perfume. The front door opens downstairs. Mum, you home. Evan's voice, earlier than expected. Up here. Honey. Footsteps on the stairs. Then he's in my doorway, still wearing his Asheville High School lanyard. My boy. Teaching history where he once learned it. His face looks tired. Lila said you were upset about some cleaning. I study him like I used to study patients. Dilated pupils, no. Defensive posture slightly. Wedding ring turned inward. A nervous habit from childhood. Just surprised to see my things thrown away. Mum, we talked about this. The house is getting cluttered. Lila's just trying to help. We never talked about this. I would remember. I remember everything, every call, every visit, every conversation. That's what makes this so insidious. She's creating conversations that never happened. Appointments I never made. Symptoms I've never shown. Evan, did you call Dr. Marsh's office? He looks away. Can't meet my eyes. Lila said you've been struggling, forgetting things. Name one thing I've forgotten. Silence stretches between us. He's searching, reaching for examples that don't exist. She found you outside at 3 a.m. last week, he finally says. When last week? Which night? You know I keep a sleep journal for my blood pressure medication. Should I check it? His shoulders slump. Tuesday, she said. Tuesday. Tuesday I was at the hospital with Nancy from church. Her husband had a stroke. I have the parking receipt, the visitor sticker. Nancy's tearful thank you text at 3:47 im. But I don't show him. Not yet. I'm gathering evidence like I'm building a trauma report. You don't show your hand until you know exactly what injury you're treating. Your father will be home soon, I say instead. Are you staying for dinner? Lila's making reservations somewhere. She says you need a break from cooking. I've cooked dinner every night for 42 years. It's not a burden. It's a rhythm, a ritual, a way of showing love. But that's being rewritten too. Everything that makes me who I am is being translated into symptoms of decline. The pattern is clear now, visible like bruises under ultraviolet light. She's not just stealing money or planning my institutionalization. She's stealing my story, replacing it with one where I'm the problem to be solved. Blue Laurel Frames sits between a coffee shop and a yarn store on Lexington Avenue. I know the owner, Opal Green, from church. She's working on my ruined frame when I walk in at 9:30 the next morning. Maggie, I was going to call you. Strangest thing, your daughter-in-law was here yesterday asking about this exact frame. My pulse quickens, but I keep my voice level. Oh. Around 2 in the afternoon. Wanted to know how to remove a drawing if it was glued to the backing. Said it was stuck. Opal adjusts her glasses. But look. She shows me the backing. No glue at all, just standard mounting corners. Did she say why she needed to remove it? Something about reframing it as a surprise for your son? Opal sets the frame down carefully. But honey, that's not what bothered me. She asked if I had security cameras. When I said yes, she left without buying anything. Could I see the footage? Opal's already pulling up her tablet. Had a feeling you'd ask. The video shows Lila clearly, checking angles, noting the camera positions, calculating. Want me to save this? Please, email it to me? I leave with the frame and drive to Mr. Denny's house 3 doors down from ours. He's 81, sharp as surgical steel, and has a doorbell camera that covers half our street. That girl's been busy, he says, before I even ask. He's already at his computer, pulling up files. Look at this. The footage spans 3 weeks. Lila arrives at odd hours when Tom and I are out, leaves packages on our porch, returns to retrieve them later, always with photos on her phone. What kind of packages, I ask. Small boxes, pharmacy bags, once a bottle of something. He zooms in on Tuesday, 3:14 am. This is interesting. Lila's in pajamas and a coat, placing something on our porch, then photographing it with the porch light on, creating evidence. 10 minutes later, she retrieves the item and leaves. Can you send me these files? Already uploading to the cloud. Mr. Denny learned technology to video chat with grandkids in Portland. Maggie, what's she doing? Building a case that I'm losing my mind. He burns everything to a USB drive. My wife had dementia, real dementia. This isn't what it looks like. Next stop, CVS on Merriman. I buy a simple UV flashlight, the kind people use to check bills, $24. Then the pharmacy section, where I purchase over-the-counter test strips for common sedatives, the kind parents use to test drinks at parties. Back home, I examine the vitamin bottles Lila brought last month. For your joint health, she'd said. Under UV light, a faint residue glows on the rim, transferred powder, something added after manufacturing. I don't take them anymore. Haven't for 2 weeks, claiming stomach upset. My mind's been clearer since. Tom's in his workshop when I find him, sanding a rocking chair. I lay out everything like I'm presenting a case to the ER attending. Documents, bank records, video stills, test results. Jesus Christ. He sets down the sandpaper. His hands, steady enough to build furniture, tremble slightly. How long? 3 months minimum, maybe longer. We need a lawyer. Already called one. Sabrina Holt specializes in elder abuse and financial crimes. Her office is downtown, 3rd floor, overlooking Pack Square. She reviews everything with the focus of a trauma surgeon. The power of attorney isn't valid without your signature, she confirms. But if you were declared incompetent, she could petition for guardianship. These doctor visits, the documented episodes, the financial pattern she's building grounds. What do we do? First, revoke any existing authorizations. Get ahead of this. She pulls out forms. New healthcare proxy. I suggest your husband. Financial power of attorney. Same. We'll file these today, before any competency hearing could be scheduled. What about the money she's taking? Document everything. Screenshot all transactions. We'll file a suspicious activity report with Adult Protective Services and the Banking Commission. Next. High Ridge Credit Union. The branch manager, Claudette Rowe, knows us. Her expression darkens as I explain. We've seen this before, she says, typing rapidly. Let me pull up. Yes. Someone tried to add themselves as an authorized user yesterday. Online application, supposedly from you. Block it. Already done. I'm also placing a verbal password on all accounts. Nothing moves without you or Tom in person with ID. She prints transaction histories. These transfers to LL Strategic Services want me to flag them. Everything over $50 needs dual authorization. I can do better. Any transfer to that specific account gets frozen pending verification. My phone buzzes. Evan. Mom, where are you? Lila's worried. I text back. Running errands? Home soon? Sabrina gave me recording equipment legal in North Carolina with single-party consent. Tiny devices that look like phone chargers. I place one in the living room, another in the kitchen. The doorbell camera gets upgraded to a model that saves to the cloud. 4:45 p.m. Tom's beside me as we wait. We've rehearsed this like preparing for a mass casualty incident. Stay calm. Document everything. Don't reveal what we know. Lila arrives at 5:10. Evan trailing behind, looking uncomfortable. Mum, we need to talk. She's using her concerned voice. I found these in your bedroom. She produces empty pill bottles, ones I've never seen before. The labels are disturbing. Risperidone, haloperidol, antipsychotics. Where did these come from? I ask. Don't you remember you've been hiding them? The trap is so obvious now. Plant the bottles. Discover them. Establish a pattern of confusion and hoarding medication. But she's made an error. The prescription dates are from last week. The pharmacy label shows a location in South Asheville I've never visited. Tom speaks for the first time. Those aren't ours. Dad. Mum needs help. Evan's voice breaks. He believes her. My son, who once trusted me to chase away nightmares, now thinks I'm becoming one. Then let's call the pharmacy, I suggest. Verify the prescriptions. Lila's hand moves toward the bottles. That's not necessary. I think it is. I'm already dialing the number on the label. Her mask slips for just a second. Pure calculation flashes across her face before the concern returns. The pharmacy has no record of any prescriptions for me. The room goes very quiet. The pharmacy must have made an error, Lila says smoothly. These things happen with their systems. Evan looks between us, confused. But you said you found them. Let's have dinner. Lila's hand touches his shoulder, that practiced gesture. I made reservations, but actually, why don't we eat here family dinner? I'll cook. She's never cooked in our kitchen, not once in 3 years. I brought special tea, she continues, producing a mason jar from her designer tote. Homemade blend, chamomile, valerian root, passion flower. natural relaxation. The jar glows faintly under the kitchen's LED lights. Pretty purple dried flowers floating in what looks like loose tea. She sets it on the counter like a chess piece. "I'll make some for you." "Mum, you seem tense." Tom's hand finds mine under the table. Steady pressure. We watched her pour, watched her steep, watched her add honey local. She says, "Good for allergies Evan doesn't have." "Here." She sets the mug in front of me. Steam rises between us. "Drink it while it's hot." The test strips are in my pocket, but I don't need them. The smell is wrong, bitter underneath the honey. In 23 years of emergency medicine, you learn what certain things smell like. Sedatives have a particular edge. "Thank you." I lift the mug. "Tom, would you like some?" "I made it specifically for you," Lila says quickly. Tom has his coffee. "I'd love to try it." Tom reaches for my mug. "No, too sharp." She catches herself. "I mean, I only made enough for 1 cup. The herbs are expensive." I set the mug down, then, accidentally, knock it with my elbow, reaching for the sugar. Tea spills across the table, running toward Lila's white designer bag. "Oh!" She jumps up, grabbing her bag. "Mum, you really need to be more careful." So clumsy of me. I grab paper towels, making sure to soak one thoroughly with the spilled tea. This goes in my pocket. "Let me clean this up." "I'll make you another cup." "No need. I'm not really a tea person." Her jaw tightens. "You should try to relax more. Stress isn't good at your age." At my age, like I'm already half dead, Evan's watching everything with the expression of someone trying to solve an equation that won't balance. "Maybe we should go out after all." "Actually, I'm making pot roast," I announce. "Evan's favourite. Remember, honey, you used to ask for it every Sunday. With the little potatoes." For a moment, he's 6 again, excited about dinner. "And carrots cut in rounds, not sticks." I'm already at the stove. "Lila, would you like to help? I need to make a call. Work emergency." She retreats to the living room, where I've placed the recording device. Tom helps me prep vegetables. His knife work is precise. 40 years of woodworking gives you steady hands. Evan hovers between us, uncertain. "Tell me about your day," I say, falling into our old rhythm. "How's the Civil War unit going?" He relaxes incrementally. Kids are struggling with the primary sources. They want everything summarized in tweets. We talk about his students, his lesson plans, the upcoming parent conferences. Normal conversation. I watch him remember who I am, not a confused old woman, but his mother, who helped him through AP history, who typed his college essays while he paced and dictated, who still remembers the Gettysburg Address because we memorized it together. Lila returns as I'm plating dinner. "Smells good." The words are correct, but the tone is wrong. She's angry about something. We sit. Say grace Tom insists, knowing she hates it. Pass dishes. I serve myself from every plate, making sure to eat what everyone eats. If she's dosed something, it's not the communal food. "Evan and I have been thinking," Lila announces over the potatoes. "This house is too big for you two. Maybe it's time to downsize." "We like our house," Tom says simply. "But the stairs, the maintenance." "I built those stairs," Tom interrupts. "They'll outlast all of us." "I'm thinking about your safety." She switched to her client voice. Strategic Operations Manager mode. "What happens when Maggie falls?" "If," I correct. "If I fall, which I haven't?" Yet, that word hangs in the air like a threat. Evan pushes carrots around his plate. Maybe we should talk about this later. Your parents need to face reality. Lila's mask is slipping again. They're not getting younger. Decisions need to be made. What kind of decisions? I ask innocently. Financial planning? Healthcare directives? Proper oversight? By whom? Family, of course. Meaning you. She smiles. That bright, false smile. I have experience with asset management. There it is. Asset management. We're not people to her. We're a portfolio to be optimized. Tom's recording app is running on his phone, hidden behind the napkin holder. Every word is being saved to the cloud. Speaking of family, I say, I found Evan's old drawing today, the one from when he was 6. Remember, honey, you were so scared of the dark. Evan looks up sharply. The one with the 3 figures, Mom, Dad, and me. That exact one. Where is it, I thought? He turns to Lila. You said you were having it reframed. It was falling apart, she says quickly. The paper was basically dust. No, Evan says slowly. It wasn't. I looked at it Christmas morning. It was fine. Something shifts in his expression. A crack in the trust. You must be misremembering. I don't misremember that drawing. His teacher voice. The one that brooks no argument from teenagers trying to claim the Civil War was about states' rights alone. Where is it? Lila. She reaches for his hand. He pulls back. It was mouldy, a health hazard. Then where are the pieces? Silence. I pull out my phone, show him the video from Blue Laurel Frames. Lila asking about removing a drawing that wasn't stuck, checking for cameras. His face changes. You lied. Evan, your mother is confusing you. My mother isn't confused about anything. He stands. But I have been. Tom's phone buzzes. The recording has saved. All of it. Her admission about asset management, her lies about the drawing, the attempted drugging with tea. But she doesn't know that. She stands too, reaches for Evan. Sweetie, let's go home and talk. I'm staying here tonight. He moves toward his old room. In my childhood bedroom, with my parents, who aren't confused or incompetent or in need of oversight. Lila's left, standing in our kitchen, her designer bag clutched against her chest, her perfect mask, finally, completely shattered. This isn't over, she says quietly. No, I agree. It's just beginning. Sabrina Holt's office opens at 8 sharp Monday morning. Tom and I are waiting with Evan, who hasn't gone home since dinner 3 nights ago. He's been sleeping in his old room, staring at the ceiling where glow-in-the-dark stars still cling from 1994. We need to move fast, Sabrina says, spreading documents across her conference table. She'll escalate now that her initial plan has failed. The paperwork is extensive. Revocation of any implied authority. New healthcare proxies with explicit language requiring 2 independent physicians to declare incompetence. Financial lockdowns requiring triple authentication. Each document, another wall between us and Lila's plans. Sign here. Initial here. Sabrina's paralegal guides us through each page. This one revokes any power of attorney dated before today. What if she forged one? Evan asks. He's been asking sharp questions all weekend, the fog of manipulation lifting. That's why we're filing these with the county clerk immediately. Time-stamped, notarized, witnessed. She'd have to prove hers predates these, and forgery leaves evidence. Next document, a cognitive evaluation request. You're voluntarily requesting assessment from a neuropsychologist of your choosing, Sabrina explains. Dr. Patricia Huang, independent. No connection to Dr. Marsh. It establishes your baseline cognitive function through standardized testing. When? Tomorrow at 2. Can you make that? I'll drive them, Evan says. He's taken leave from school, telling his principal there's a family emergency, not a lie. The financial documents are more complex. Tom and I sign forms placing holds on our accounts, requiring both signatures for any transaction over $500. The bank will issue us new account numbers, new cards, new everything. What about the money she's already taken? Tom asks. Criminal complaint. Sabrina pulls out another set of forms. Elder financial abuse is a felony in North Carolina. With your evidence, we can file charges. Will Evan be implicated? I can't let my son pay for his wife's crimes. He's a victim too, manipulated into participating. The fact that he's cooperating now helps establish that. Deputy Aaron Pike from the Buncombe County Sheriff's Office arrives at 10:30. He's young, maybe 30, but his eyes are serious as he reviews our evidence. This is thorough, he says, examining the bank records. The pattern is clear. We'll need to execute a search warrant for additional evidence. What about the tea? I produce the paper towel, now dried, sealed in a Ziploc bag. You preserved this? He looks impressed. Chain of custody might be challenged, but if we find the source materials, he takes our statements, Evans included. My son's voice cracks when he describes how Lila convinced him I was declining. Small things at first. Your mum seemed confused on the phone. Then bigger claims. I found her wandering outside. Always when he wasn't there to verify. She played on my fear, he says. My grandmother had Alzheimer's. I watched her disappear. Lila knew that. Pike bags the pill bottles she planted, the dried tea sample, copies of all financial records. We'll coordinate with Adult Protective Services. They'll want to interview you separately. What happens to Lila? Evan asks. Depends on what we find. Financial exploitation, attempted poisoning, fraud. She's looking at significant charges. After Pike leaves, we drive to High Ridge Credit Union. Claudette Rowe has everything ready: new accounts, new cards, consolidated statements showing every suspicious transaction. We've frozen the LL Strategic Services account, she confirms. Legal hold pending investigation. The $13,000 she moved is locked. $13,000. I hadn't totaled it up. 3 months of slow bleeding. There's something else, Claudette says quietly. She came in Friday, tried to access your safe deposit box. Said you'd sent her for important papers. We don't have a safe deposit box. You do now, opened last month, supposedly by you. But the signature, she shows us the card. It's not even close to yours. Another piece of the puzzle. What was she planning to put in there? A forged will. More planted evidence. Next stop, Dr. Keaton Marsh's office. I called ahead, insisted on an immediate consultation about concerning irregularities in my file. His receptionist squeezed us in at 3:15. Dr. Marsh is older than I expected, mid-60s with careful eyes. He reviews his notes while we sit across his desk. Mrs. Caldwell, I've never actually examined you. He begins carefully. Yet you have extensive notes about my condition. He shifts uncomfortably. Your daughter-in-law provided detailed observations. Family reports are standard for initial consultations. What exactly did she report? He reads from his screen. Progressive confusion, hoarding behaviors, midnight wandering, inability to manage medications, financial inconsistencies, aggressive outbursts. When did these supposedly begin? She said approximately 6 months ago, worsening significantly in the last 3. Doctor, I worked as a paramedic for 23 years. I know what cognitive decline looks like. Do I seem confused to you? He studies me, really looks this time, not at his notes, but at the person in front of him. No, you seem remarkably sharp. Because I am. Your notes are fiction, Doctor. Written by someone with an agenda. Tom slides the bank records across the desk. That agenda. Dr. Marsh reviews them, his face paling. If this is accurate, it's accurate. And you were going to be her medical authority to declare me incompetent. I would never, without proper examination. But the groundwork was laid. The family consultation, the documented symptoms, the memory care facility already selected. I lean forward. Doctor, you're either complicit or negligent. Which is it? I had no knowledge of any financial motivation. His voice is steady, but his hands aren't. Mrs. Harrington, Mrs. Caldwell, Lila. She presented as a concerned family member, professional, articulate, detailed in her observations. Strategic, Evan says bitterly. She's strategic. Dr. Marsh turns to his computer, begins typing rapidly. I'm addending your file immediately, noting that no direct examination has occurred, that family reports require verification, that any diagnosis is premature and unsubstantiated. Not enough, Sabrina says. She's been silent until now, letting us lead. We need a formal letter stating you've never examined my client, that any records suggesting cognitive decline are based solely on unverified third-party claims. I'll have it drafted today. Now, Tom says. We'll wait. We sit while he types. The only sound is keyboards clicking and the hum of the air conditioning. Evan reads over the doctor's shoulder, suggesting revisions. My son, the history teacher, ensuring accuracy in the record. The letter is printed, signed, notarized by the office manager. 3 copies, one for us, one for Sabrina, one for the sheriff's department. As we leave, Dr. Marsh stops me. Mrs. Caldwell, I apologize. I should have insisted on examining you personally before accepting any narrative. Yes, I agree. You should have. Outside, Evan breaks down. Mum, I'm so sorry. I believed her. I let her. She's your wife. You loved her. Trust isn't a character flaw. Loved. Past tense. He looks older than his 36 years. I don't even know who she really is. Neither do we. But we're about to find out. My phone buzzes. Unknown number. But I recognize the voice immediately. Hello? Maggie? Lila sounds calm, controlled. We need to talk. Put her on speaker? Tom mouths. I hit the button. I'm listening. I say. Let's be civilized about this. Meet me at the house. We can sort everything out without involving unnecessary parties. Your house or mine? Yours? 1 hour. Just family. She hangs up. Evan's already shaking his head. But I'm thinking like a paramedic again. Sometimes you have to go into dangerous situations to save someone, even if that someone is yourself. We're going. I decide. But we're going prepared. Back home. I work quickly. The repaired drawing, I've been piecing it together with archival tape. Each torn edge, aligned like bone fragments, goes into a new frame. But this frame is special. Tom helped me modify it last night, hiding a tiny voice recorder in the backing. Legal in North Carolina. One-party consent. I set up my phone to live stream to the cloud, prop it on the bookshelf between photo albums. Tom positions his tablet in the kitchen, angled toward the living room. Evan downloads a recording app, sets his phone to capture everything. She wants the drawing, I tell them. It's the only physical evidence that directly contradicts her story. She'll try to destroy it completely this time. At 4:20, Lila arrives. She's changed tactics gone is the designer athleisure. She's wearing a conservative dress, hair in a low bun, looking like a concerned daughter-in-law from a pharmaceutical commercial. "Thank you for seeing me," she begins, settling on our couch uninvited. "I know things got heated the other night. You tried to drug me," I state flatly. "That's a misunderstanding. The tea was meant to help you relax. Natural herbs. Nothing harmful. Should we test that theory?" Tom produces the dried sample. "The sheriff's department has it now." Her composure flickers. "You're overreacting to a family disagreement." "Is that what we're calling fraud now?" Evan's voice is ice. "A disagreement. Sweetie, don't." He cuts her off. "Don't call me that. Don't pretend this is normal." She shifts tactics, tears appearing on cue. "I was trying to help. You didn't see what I saw, the confusion, the late-night wandering." "Stop." I stand, retrieve the newly framed drawing from the mantel. "Let's talk about this." Her eyes lock onto it immediately. The hunger there, she needs it gone. "That old thing, Evan? Honey? Remember how we discussed reframing it?" "We never discussed anything. You took it. You tore it." His voice breaks. "That drawing saved me from nightmares, and you destroyed it. It was falling apart." "Liar." I turn the frame toward her. "Look closely. Those are fresh tears. Clean edges, deliberate." She reaches for it. I pull back. "Give it to me," she says. Mask slipping. "It's worthless anyway." "Then why do you want it?" "Because it upsets you to see it damaged. You're fixating on insignificant objects, a clear sign of cognitive decline. Or a clear sign of someone documenting destruction of property." I set the frame on the coffee table between us, knowing the recorder is capturing everything. "Tell me, Lila, what's your real name?" The question surprises her. "What?" "Lila Harrington. But the bank account is under Lila Larson. Which is real?" "Larson is my maiden name." "No." Evan interrupts. "Your maiden name is Harrington. You showed me your birth certificate when we got our marriage license." Silence stretches. She's calculating, measuring what we know against what she can still hide. "Fine." The tears dry instantly. "Harrington is my professional name. Larson is complicated." "Uncomplicate it," Tom suggests. "I was married before, briefly. It didn't work out." Evan goes pale. "You were married. When were you going to tell me?" "It wasn't relevant." "Not relevant. What else isn't relevant? Your real age, your actual job." She stands, paces to the window. When she turns back, the mask is completely gone. What remains is cold calculation. "You want truth. Here's truth. You people are sitting on a gold mine, this house. Tom's military benefits, your retirement accounts, that whole life insurance policy. And what are you doing with it?" "Nothing. Letting it stagnate while you pretend you'll live forever." "So you decided to steal it?" I say calmly. Optimize it, leverage it, make it work for the next generation. Your generation, not Evan's. She laughs, bright and sharp. Evan. He's content with his teacher's salary and his childhood bedroom. He has no vision. I have values, Evan says quietly. I thought you did too. Values don't pay for the lifestyle I deserve. She's fully revealed now, the predator without camouflage. I've spent 3 years playing the devoted wife, listening to stories about the good old days, pretending to care about your mother's recipe box and your father's wood shavings. Tom records everything on his phone, held openly now. She doesn't care. The plan was simple, she continues. Establish medical cause for concern, assume financial control, transition Maggie to professional care. No one gets hurt. She'd be looked after. Probably better than here. In a memory unit, drugged into compliance. If necessary, no remorse. The tea was just to make you more amenable, a little confused, enough to confirm what I'd been documenting. And the pills you planted? Insurance, in case you proved difficult? She moves toward the drawing, and I don't stop her. Let her reveal everything. This stupid picture. She picks up the frame. You treated it like the Mona Lisa. Do you know how pathetic that is? A child's scribble, elevated to sacred art. That child is your husband, Tom reminds her. That child grew up to be a man without ambition. She examines the taped tears. You fixed it. How sweet. How pointless. Behind her back, Evan types rapidly on his phone. I see the screen reflected in the window, calling Deputy Pike. Here's what's going to happen, Lila announces. You're going to drop this ridiculous investigation. I'm going to divorce Evan. God knows I've earned it after 3 years of this charade. We'll call the money a consulting fee for time wasted. No, I say simply. No. She sets down the frame harder than necessary. The recorder inside shifts, but keeps running. You don't get to say no. I have enough documentation to make your life hell. Confused old woman, hoarding pills, wandering at night. Fabricated documentation. We have proof. Your word against mine. And Dr. Marsh's, he's revised his assessment. That stops her. He wouldn't. He did. An hour ago. Written statement, no examination, no diagnosis. All information unverified. Her phone buzzes. She glances at it, and her face changes. Text from someone, H&V Act, suspended pending investigation. Contact compliance immediately. What did you do? She turns on Evan. Sent your boss the recording from dinner. The part where you discussed optimizing my parents' assets. He holds up his phone. Amazing what good audio quality can accomplish. She lunges for the drawing, grabs it before anyone can stop her. You want this so badly, watch it burn. But she's made a crucial mistake. The moment she touches it, the recorder activates. Her voice captured clearly. 3 years of planning. And you idiots figured it out because of a stupid drawing. Blue and red lights flash through the window. Deputy Pike is here. Last chance, she tells Evan. Come with me. We can start over. I'll teach you how the world really works. I know how it works, he replies. I also know how it should work. There's a difference. She rips the drawing from the frame, tears it again, smaller pieces this time, confetti of crayon and paper. But we don't stop her. Let her destroy evidence of her crime. Ma'am? Deputy Pike stands in our doorway. I need you to step away from the family and come with me. This is harassment, Lila says, still holding pieces of the drawing. I'm having a family discussion. Ma'am, we have a warrant. Pike holds up the document. Financial fraud, elder abuse, attempted poisoning. Please turn around and place your hands behind your back. Evan, tell them this is a mistake. She turns to my son, desperation finally cracking through. Tell them. Evan looks at her for a long moment. Then he bends down, starts gathering the torn pieces of his childhood drawing from the floor. The only mistake was trusting you. You're throwing away our life together for them. She gestures at Tom and me. They'll be dead in 10 years. I'm your future. No, Evan says quietly, still collecting scraps of paper. You're my past. A mistake I'll learn from. Pike steps forward. Ma'am, I won't ask again. She drops the remaining pieces, lets them flutter to the floor like dead leaves. You people have no vision, no understanding of how the world actually works. We understand crime, Pike says, producing handcuffs. Turn around. The metallic click of the cuffs is sharp in our quiet living room. 3 years of marriage ending with that sound. The tea, I say to Pike. Test the tea. She admitted to drugging it. Already being analysed. The state lab has it. He looks at Lila. You have the right to remain silent. I know my rights. She cuts him off. I want my lawyer, Richard Dalton from Dalton, Hayes and Associates. Expensive lawyer. Of course she'd have one ready. Pike continues the Miranda warning while Lila stares at Evan. You're weak, she tells him. Just like your parents, satisfied with mediocrity. We're satisfied with honesty, Tom says. There's a difference. Another deputy, Officer Janet Reeves, enters with evidence bags. We need the frame, the torn pieces, any beverages she brought, all electronics. I hand over the modified frame with its hidden recorder. There's a device in the backing. It's been recording. Lila's composure finally cracks completely. You recorded me in your own home. One-party consent state, Sabrina Holt says from the doorway. She must have been waiting outside. Perfectly legal, unlike fraud, forgery, and attempted poisoning. This won't stick. You have no real evidence. We have your bank account with $13,000 of my parents' money, Evan says. We have forged medical documents. We have tampered tea. We have video of you sneaking around at 3 a.m. We have... His voice breaks. We have 3 years of lies. Pike reads from his warrant. We're also seizing all electronic devices, searching your vehicle, and freezing your assets pending investigation. My assets. Those are legitimate. LL Strategic Services is registered to a Lila Larson, supposedly dissolved after a bankruptcy filing in 2018. But it's still receiving deposits? That's fraud. Sabrina's done her homework. Your previous marriage ended with similar allegations? Janet Morrison in Charlotte. She filed charges you disappeared before facing another marriage, another victim. How many others? I ask quietly. How many families have you done this to? Lila says nothing, but her silence is confession enough. Mrs. Morrison is willing to testify. Sabrina continues. She lost $40,000 before she caught on. Her mother was in early-stage dementia, legitimate dementia, and you convinced her family she needed immediate institutionalization. You can't prove. We can. Mrs. Morrison kept excellent records, just like Mrs. Caldwell here. Pike nods to Reeves. Take her to the station. Book her on everything in the warrant. As Reeves leads her toward the door, Lila turns back one last time. Not to Evan, she's done with him. To me. You think you've won, I'm 33. You're pushing 70. I'll be out in 2 years maximum, probably less. You'll be in the ground. I'm playing a long game you won't live to see the end of. I stand, walk to her, close enough to smell that expensive perfume one last time. Maybe. But you'll play it with a criminal record. Every job application, every background check, every relationship, they'll all see what you really are. You tried to steal my history. Instead, you've destroyed your future. Get her out of here, Tom says. Reeves guides Lila out, through the window. We watch her placed in the patrol car. Neighbours have gathered Mr. Denny, others, everyone seeing her true face. Pike remains, documenting evidence. Mr. Caldwell, he says to Evan, I need to ask about your involvement. He's been manipulated, Sabrina interjects. Emotional abuse, psychological manipulation. I signed things, Evan interrupts. The bank accounts. I was listed as co-signer. I helped her. Under what pretense? Pike asks. She said it was for their protection, in case something happened suddenly, she said. He laughs bitterly. She said it was what loving families do. Pike nods, making notes. The DA will want to interview you, but given the evidence of manipulation and your cooperation, I doubt you'll face charges. You're a victim too. Victim, my strong son, reduced to that word. What happens now? Tom asks. She'll be arraigned within 48 hours. Bail hearing after that. Given the financial crimes and the attempt to flee, she had a ticket to Costa Rica in her car. She'll likely be held or given high bail. Costa Rica. The escape plan we didn't even know about. The drawing, Evan says suddenly, still holding the pieces. Mom, I'm so sorry about the drawing. I take the scraps from him, these twice-torn fragments of his childhood. We'll fix it again, together, however long it takes. It won't be the same. No, I agree. It'll tell a better story. How something broken can be rebuilt. How love survives, even when trust doesn't. Pike finishes collecting evidence. Sabrina reviews next steps: criminal trial, civil suit to recover assets, divorce proceedings for Evan, the business of untangling Lila's web. But for now, in this moment, it's just the three of us in our living room. Tom opens his arms, and Evan collapses into them, sobbing like he's 6 years old again, afraid of the dark. I wrap my arms around them both. We need to call a locksmith, Tom says eventually. Change everything tonight. And the bank again tomorrow, I add. Knew everything. And a therapist, Evan says into Tom's shoulder. I need help understanding how I let this happen. We'll all go, I tell him. Family counselling. We all missed the signs. Outside, the patrol car pulls away, taking Lila toward booking, arraignment, the machinery of justice. But inside our home, our safe, intact home, we begin the slower work of healing. I look at the torn drawing in my hands, twice destroyed now. Tomorrow, I'll start piecing it together again, this time with Evan beside me. Each fragment a memory, each repair a choice to rebuild rather than discard. The sun sets over the Blue Ridge Mountains, painting our walls golden. In this light, even broken things look beautiful. Even betrayal can become wisdom. Even a ruined drawing can become art. Mom, Evan says quietly. The real drawing, the one that matters, it was never on paper. Was it? It was what it meant. That's what she couldn't destroy. My boy, still teaching, even through tears. That's exactly right, I tell him, and mean it. The courtroom is smaller than I expected. 6 weeks have passed since that day in our living room. Lila sits at the defendant's table in a grey suit, her hair pulled back severely. No designer clothes, now her assets remain frozen. She doesn't look at us. Not at Evan, who sits between Tom and me, gripping my hand like he did during thunderstorms as a child. Not at the gallery where Mrs. Morrison drove up from Charlotte to witness this. Not at Mr. Denny, who closed his hardware store to be here. District Attorney Sarah Winters stands. The state has reached a plea agreement with the defendant. My stomach drops. A deal. After everything. Mrs. Larson. The judge begins, using her real name, the one from her first marriage, her first crime. You are pleading guilty to elder financial exploitation, fraud, forgery, and attempted poisoning. Is this correct? Yes, Your Honor. Her voice is flat, defeated. The agreement stipulates 8 years in state prison, full restitution of stolen funds, and permanent forfeiture of any claim to the Caldwell family assets. Upon release, you will be registered as a financial predator and prohibited from any fiduciary position. 8 years. It seems both too long and not enough. Mrs. Caldwell. The judge addresses me. As the primary victim, would you like to make a statement? I stand. I've prepared words, but looking at Lila now, I say something different. You were right about one thing. I may not live to see the end of your story, but my son will. My husband will. Our community will. And every time someone Googles your name, your real name, they'll find this. Not the successful strategist you pretended to be, but the woman who drugged tea and tore up a child's drawing to steal his inheritance. I pull the drawing from my bag. Evan and I spent 3 weeks restoring it, using museum-quality tape, working side by side at the kitchen table. The tears are visible scars that tell a story. This drawing survived you. We survived you. That's all that matters. Lila finally looks at me then. No mask left, no performance, just a hollow woman who gambled everything on greed and lost. Bailiff, take the defendant into custody. The judge's gavel falls. They lead her away in handcuffs. She'll serve her time in Raleigh, far from the mountains she tried to steal from us. Evan doesn't watch her go. He's studying the drawing in my hands, tracing the repaired tears with his finger. Outside the courthouse, spring has come to Asheville. The dogwoods are blooming, pink and white against the blue sky. Mrs. Morrison hugs me, then Evan. It gets easier, she tells him. The shame fades. You'll trust again. When, he asks. When you're ready. Not before. Sabrina joins us on the courthouse steps. The civil suit will proceed separately. We'll recover everything, plus damages. I don't want damages, Evan says. I just want it over. Then we'll settle for restitution only. She pauses. The divorce is already final. Abandonment and fraud. You're free. Free. Such a simple word for such a complex process. That evening, we have dinner at home. Tom makes his famous chili, the one Lila always claimed was too spicy. Evan laughs for the first time in weeks when Tom adds extra peppers, in celebration. I've been thinking, Evan says over cornbread, about the drawing. We wait. I want to donate it to the courthouse, for their victim services office. Maybe it'll help someone else recognize when love becomes manipulation. It's yours to donate, I tell him. No, he corrects. It's ours, our story, our survival. 3 months later, the drawing hangs in a simple frame outside the victim advocate's office. A small plaque reads, "Rebuilt after destruction, donated by the Caldwell family. Proof that broken things can be restored." Sometimes I visit it, this piece of our history now serving others. The tears are visible under the gallery lights, not hidden, not shameful, just part of the whole. Visitors often ask about it. The advocate tells our story, carefully, without names. A cautionary tale, a survival guide. Evan teaches again, stronger now. He's in therapy, learning to recognize the red flags he missed. Tom builds furniture with renewed purpose, crafting beauty from raw wood, creating things that will outlast us all. And me, I volunteer with Elder Services now, teaching seniors about financial predators. I show them the signs the too helpful family member, the sudden interest in finances, the subtle suggestions of mental decline. I teach them to document everything, to trust but verify, to protect themselves from those who would steal their stories and rewrite them as decline. Lila was wrong about something else. This isn't where our story ends, it's where it transforms, where betrayal becomes wisdom, where destruction becomes art, where a torn drawing becomes a beacon for others navigating similar darkness. The Blue Ridge Mountains embrace Asheville as evening falls. In our kitchen, Tom washes dishes while Evan grades papers at the table where we piece together evidence of crime and fragments of crayon art. Normal life, but deeper now. Tested, proven, real. I keep a photo of the restored drawing on my phone. Sometimes, late at night. I zoom in on the tears, these precise lines where trust broke and love mended. They look like rivers on a map, marking the geography of survival. Tomorrow, Evan will bring his students to see the drawing at the courthouse. He'll teach them about primary sources, about how personal documents become historical records. He'll show them how something meant to express love can be weapon, evidence, and ultimately, inspiration. But tonight, we're just a family around a kitchen table, whole, scarred, intact. The drawing hangs in the courthouse, but its true message lives here, in the quiet resilience of ordinary people who refused to let someone else write their ending, who chose to rebuild rather than surrender, who learned that sometimes the most powerful revenge isn't destroying your enemy, it's surviving them so thoroughly that they become nothing more than a footnote in your larger story. Outside, spring rain begins to fall on the mountain slopes. Inside, we are warm, we are together, and we are free. The drawing is just paper and wax. What matters is what we made of its destruction, evidence of our refusal to be erased. That's the real revenge. Not the handcuffs, or the sentence, or the frozen assets. It's this sitting at our own table, in our own home, writing our own ending. The torn drawing, twice destroyed and twice restored, tells the truth. Some things are stronger broken than they ever were whole. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Please share in the comments below so we can connect with fellow listeners around the world. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing your thoughts. What would you have done in Maggie's situation? Your experiences and insights make our community richer. Until next time, stay vigilant and protect your family stories.